All right, Ash, how's it going?
It's good, Mike.
What what's happening in the office this morning?
Quoting some job site stuff for some of our new users that have a bunch of big positions coming up they need to cover. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Um, I'm just going to check LinkedIn to see how many folks may have joined.
Yeah, I mean, you should have it in your maintenance record on the car. I think it was last November.
Yeah.
I had a similar issue, and it got fixed. Okay, the radio was working. Then all of a sudden it stopped working.
So we're Ashley from Chicago. Glad you're here. Where are you from? Thanks, Ash. All right, Ash, should we kick this off?
Let's kick it off.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. This is the first LinkedIn Live version of the SmartMarket, and we're actually coming from the road. I am in Burlington, Wisconsin, which I'm a little surprised to see that the corn's already turning brown up here, but it's a gorgeous day. Went past a couple of housing developments already. There's definitely activity in the residential sector. Couple things happened this week at MaterialsXchange. We launched our new improved version of the user interface. Have gotten some really good feedback on that. As always, we encourage you to let us know how it goes, what other functions or features that you may want on it. We're an open book, so come back to us with any ideas. With that, I'm going to just flip it over to Ash. We can talk a little bit about the market and trade of the week.
Yeah, Mike, thanks. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, you're all good.
All right. Hey, John, how are you doing? I've got all the sympathy in the world riding next to that guy. He's a fun guy to road trip with.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. So let's talk a little bit about the market. A lot of things that we've seen is let's talk about traditional versus non-traditional. A lot of traditional buyers that we have seen in the market over the last, year, 2 years, still have a lot of inventory sitting at some places, high price. They've been trying to average it down. It's really hard to average down inventory when you've come from the prices that we came from. It's damn near impossible. So people are still working through that. Why do we know they're working through that? Because we've had some stuff that we've seen directly and indirectly show up at people's yards that are, let's say, a little bit under the weather. And when I mean under the weather for quite a few months. So I think people are still, what that shows me from my history in the business, people are trying to get rid of problems and they're passing them along. So that's one thing that we've noticed. Other thing we've noticed is traditional reloads are jammed full. They're full. So talk to a guy up in the Northeast, his reload is used. One guy in Detroit, another guy down in Atlanta, can't get any more wood into him. You know where that wood has come from? Right. People that aren't non-traditional buyers. When this price dropped, they put wood into these reloads because they wanted to protect the market going back up to $1,700 a thousand. They don't want that to happen, so they started doing that. So we're noticing jobs popping over. On my really fancy board back here, you can see 15 MX reloads. What we're doing at MaterialsXchange is we're coming up with MX certified reloads. So the non-traditional buyers of lumber that want to protect jobs can put it into these reloads and have new solutions, which they've never had before. That's a pretty unbelievable thing we're doing. We're showing transparency and giving people optionality and giving them something, a reason why they should buy from us. Let's talk about the trade of the week. 2x4, 92 and 5/8, a dry dug fir premium Stimson, a beautiful home center stud, sold out of one of the MX reloads in the Northeast to one of our new customers. Not only was it a new customer, our new sales associate, Ryan, is that the right name? Sales associate? What's your correct title? Director of sales. Ryan, our director of sales, that was his first sale to the person. So a lot of firsts. Got to love a lot of firsts. The next one was a new European, or I should say a new European importer on our platform, sold load out of Connecticut to a buyer that normally buys from a buying group or wholesalers, and we took that business through Materials Exchange. And I'm not ashamed to say we took that business through Materials Exchange, and it went to this person. So he's seeing a new vendor he would have never seen. So two new things. So we think the market's still going to stay a little bit strong here. Where it's going through the end of the year, I have no idea, but there's plenty of business popping up. I think the actual run rate, which is the amount of houses that we can build, considering certain constraints like doors, windows, millwork, rebar, and all that, we want to still build 1.7. We're probably at a 1.3 to 1.5 run rate, which means we're producing enough lumber, but it's hard to ship that amount of lumber this much through a smaller pipe, right? So that should keep a lid on it from flying too far to the upside. But again, that's just a pure guess on my spot. So my suggestions come to MX Lumber, MaterialsXchange.com. And come on and see the new way to buy lumber digitally, and change the way you're doing things from the old way of doing it. Back to you, Mike.
All right, Ash, thanks. It was great. So jump right into the guest speaker who's sitting next to me is John Lund. I've known John since college. So what was that?
A couple years ago.
3 years ago?
3 or 4, yeah.
John has been a successful entrepreneur, started several companies, exited, and all along the way, one of the things that John has learned is the key to a successful business is sales. I'm really happy that that Ashley pointed out the sale of the week coming from a new salesperson. So what John's going to kind of shed some light on today is how do you approach sales from the year 2021 and some of the new tools available out there to help along your salespeople. So with that, welcome, John.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having the opportunity to be right along with you and be on this LinkedIn as we go along. So, yeah, I've been lucky to own my own businesses for most of my life and had a real nice, successful one. One of my challenges I always had was bringing on salespeople, getting them up to speed and making them successful. And so when I exited and decided to start my new company, I looked for a better way to do that. I mean, there just has to be a better way to bring on salespeople. And that's how I started my B2B coach. And when I talk to all my entrepreneur friends and business owners, they usually are running into two different challenges. One, either the owner plus maybe one or two other sales, driving 80% of sales, and they've been trying to bring other good salespeople on. Or two, they're trying with new salespeople all the time, but they're just burning them out. They come on, they train them up, but they don't get them up to where they need to be. So I want to do a different way to do that.
So when you first engage with someone, you're finding these people, they've got their rock stars.
Yep.
And then they throw the new guys to the wolves.
Totally. Yeah. Unlike a lot of other things where you have a lot of training, these people don't get any training. They get 2 or 3 days of here's a product, here's service, and they go out there, and that's not a successful way to get salespeople up to speed.
All right. So your business is called B2B Coach.
Yep.
Let's talk about coaching. So, how does that fit into the equation?
Yeah, coaching is critical. And really those first 4 weeks of coaching to get people enough practice and reps is critical in the sense of we need people to feel confident, comfortable, and conversational in their sales. When they get thrown to the wolves, they don't feel that way. And often they're usually burning some bridges of some good contacts they have early on, but they don't come across as confident, and people want to buy from people that are confident. So we believe in coaching a lot those first 4 weeks, and then ongoing coaching every 2 weeks after that, and then eventually once a month for your more established sales team.
So, we were talking about the established sales folks.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about sports analogy. The best quarterbacks in the NFL still have a coach.
Yes.
So what have you found in your experience when you try to bring coaching to a seasoned veteran, say a 30-year veteran of selling? How does that go?
It's interesting is they most don't want to have it, right? They're right up front. They just don't want to have it. But what they find by having a third-party coach is they can be a little bit more vulnerable, and we actually can push them a little differently into new accounts. They're probably relying, if they're a 10, 20, 30-year veteran, they're relying on their network and a few key accounts. But we can actually open up their eyes to getting that next level of accounts and then use some of today's tools to find maybe past acquaintances and other things in those accounts to get them to easily hand themselves off from one account to another and grow their base.
Yeah. So what results have you seen? Like when you get involved with a seasoned person, for instance?
The seasoned person often, like I just said, they have 3 to 5 key accounts. We always end up getting them 1 to 2 more key accounts, which they are super excited about. It's also new for them, which is fun. Like they just got a new relationship, and these are larger accounts, so $100,000 to $1 million a year accounts that these guys are working on. So getting an extra 2 accounts a year is a tremendous change for them.
And I imagine it's got to be refreshing for them to all of a sudden have something new, sort of exciting in their day to day.
Yeah, and they like getting pushed. They'll say they don't, but they actually like getting a little bit of a push once a month, knowing that, hey, they told our coaches that, hey, this is going to happen in the next month. And then they follow through and do it. And then they feel that win. And you get that win cycle going in sales. It gets contagious. And it also gets contagious to the rookies inside that company watching this, person that's been around also land some new stuff. That's kind of exciting versus a lot of times the new guys are like, well, this guy already has it built in. He's got it made. Well, no, he's out there selling fun.
The sales is contagious
for sure.
One guy gets it going.
Incredibly contagious.
Now, so the other aspect of what we had talked about earlier, it's important to diversify your sales team.
Yes.
And you brought up an interesting point: is if you want to sell your company.
Yeah. We deal with a lot of owners who are now considering, 3 to 10 years out selling their company. And, I went through a sale of my company, and they wanted to know how locked in not only our clients were, but which salespeople were generating. And if only 1 or 2 are generating all the sales, they're going to take 1 multiple off that sale price. They're not going to give you as much because they know there's way risk of that person leaving, going to another company, even after a non-compete, versus if you have 5, 6, 10, 15 salespeople who are all generating business, you're going to get that extra multiple at the sale, which is really critical.
It's flattening out a little bit of the production curve as far as your sales.
Absolutely.
Now, to do that, of course, there's the onboarding, getting new salespeople up to speed. And I think it's so cool, this concept that you're utilizing in your company. You call it AI.
Yeah. So we have a great tool, this AI tool, but the best way I explain it to people, it's like a golf simulator. So if you get to go play golf, it's better to get out into a golf tech type of company or any one of the golf simulators where you can practice a few times. You can watch the results on a screen.
Make the mistake in practice.
Yeah, make all the mistakes in practice. Sports does this. They all practice first before going to the first football game of the season. They're going through training camp. But we can give your salespeople a ton of reps, and they're going to see it, which is different than doing it. So not only are they like listen in on a call, like the old drive along, right, where your boss would drive along with you, but you actually can see the results with this AI. You can see the word, like a common one that people use all the time is the word just. I'm just following up. I'm just going to get you a proposal. There's a big difference in confidence from I'm just going to get you a proposal, Mike, to Mike, I'm getting you a proposal. Right. There's just a difference in confidence, and we got to get that all out during training through the AI. Also, pace matters. Filler words matter. Then there's also steps of like equaling the sale. So you're not wasting time doing proposals. We see so many people waste their company's time doing proposals that they have no chance at winning. And we really, through the AI and then a coach's eye, we can really get people to get better at making sure they're understanding what the next steps are.
It makes so much sense to me. I mean, I remember some, my good accounts, we would laugh about how horrible I was when I first called them.
Yeah.
And I guess it's understood that a new salesperson could be horrible, but it just doesn't have to be that way given the technologies that we have at our disposal.
Yeah, we can give a rep 100. We can give a new sales rep 100 reps, 100 scenarios in 4 weeks. They're going to get 100 at bats in 4 weeks,
right?
And get feedback on those at bats.
Actually, what just occurred to me? We send our fighter pilots into flight simulators.
Yes,
we send our pilots into flight simulators. Why not send our salespeople into a simulator?
Yes. And just like every other place in the industry, your CPA, your accountant goes back for ongoing. So even your ongoing salespeople that are established need to go for ongoing training.
Sure.
We always do that.
I guarantee you could pick something up.
Yeah, you always can pick something up.
That's amazing. And then aside from the sales teaching and training the salespeople, you said something really interesting to me. Sales intelligence. And this is, I don't know where to go with this other than that you probably want to know what the heck is going on out there, because you might come across this good and bad.
Yeah, the sales intelligence capabilities are incredible out there, and you need to be very much aware of them. The one that is incredible to me is the intent now. So I'll just give you, for me, I'm trying to expand my business into the Phoenix area because I have a house down there. We went and pulled a list. You can pull lists. There's great sources for pulling lists. But not only could I pull a list of who's into sales training, sales coaching, pull a list of owners. We target people 51 to 1,000 employees. I could pull that list for Phoenix, and then I narrowed it down by industries that we tend to do better in. That gave me 750 names. Well, that's a lot for me to call or my other team to call. But we said, well, now you can actually find out sales intent. And out of those 750, there was 73 that URL of their business literally was searching multiple times, and you can score that, for sales training, sales coaching, sales strategy. So now, who am I calling first? I'm calling those 73. So that's way more intelligence.
It's a little creepy,
super creepy, but kind of cool.
It's kind of cool that you can find out through a URL, some company website, what is that company looking for?
Yeah. And often people have it. I'm sure in your industry, people have their established vendor, established relationship. Wouldn't you like to know that whether it's your client or somebody else's client, that they're also searching for another source of that product because maybe they're not quite happy or maybe they're out of stock at the time? Man, that'd be nice to know.
An example I just thought of, right now there's a massive shortage of engineered products, plywood, OSB, not so much anymore, but if you knew what your clients were searching for, like let's say they start searching for Brazilian pine.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you should look into getting some Brazilian pine in your inventory.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. So that's, I don't know how to do it, but it's out there. All right, we're going to wrap this one up pretty quick here. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Of course, if you wanted to engage John's company, myb2bcoach.com, you can do that. But what we really wanted everyone to hear on the call was, once again, there's a different way to do business. If you keep doing the same thing the same way, you're going to get the same results. If you start to consider maybe something new, innovative, things could get different, maybe better, maybe improve. With that, we're going to sign off. Thanks for everyone for coming today.
Thank you, everyone.
And please give us the feedback on what you thought of the LinkedIn Live for our SmartMarket call. We'll keep, I think we're going to keep doing this until we hear otherwise.